When I talked with Father David a couple of weeks ago, telling him that I'm retired, I'm free, I can help him out when Father Luis goes back to India to visit his family, he said, "Oh, well, that's good. We'll need you on June 11th and 12th. I said, "That's the feast of the Holy Trinity." Now, if you asked 100 priests, what is the feast that they least like to preach on? You know, right? For us Catholics, when I see these big, nice, shiny trucks driving down the street, I think the Holy Trinity is like one of those big trucks. You get in, it takes you to where you want to go. It does everything that you need it to do. But if you're out on Goodman Road and it suddenly breaks down, you think, what am I going to do? I have no understanding of how this thing works. I may not look that old, but I used to change the oil on my car. I've tightened up the fan belt. I've, checked the spark plugs. I used to do a little bit of maintenance, but I open up the hood of a car. I can't even tell you where the engine is. It's somewhere down there. And I think that's how we look at the Holy Trinity. It's an important part of our life. It nourishes us. But do we understand it? That's always the great question. So when I like to give the little children the tour of the church, the teachers always bring the children over, and I show them the church, and I show them all the details on the church. And I discovered a way to explain to very small children what the sign of the cross is. And somebody showed me this one time. You touch your head. What do you do with your head? You think. So we think about God. We think about all the wonderful things that God has given us. And then you touch your heart. And what do? You feel with your heart. You feel gratitude. You feel love for everything that God has done for you. But I tell these little children, pretty soon you're going to find out that thinking and feeling doesn't change anything. So that's why we touch our shoulders, because we have to put our hands and our arms into action to hug the people we love, to do the things that we need to do, so that when the children are making the sign of the cross, they realize the reality of the Trinity. I can see most of us are a little bit past that age of childhood. We're looking for something a little bit more advanced. So one of the other symbols that is used is God as the creator. God the Father created the world and everything that we see in it. And when God created the world, what did he say? God said, "This is good." Everything was good. So Adam and Eve had a perfect world to live in, right? Were they happy? I figure Adam and Eve were probably about 13 or 14 years old. And they listened to God with all the respect and all of the attitudes of a teenager. There's got to be something better than that. There's got to be something better out there, right? And so the world was not enough for them. They looked for something different. They wanted the tree of good and evil. You are good. Wow. I'll bet Father Terry was the pastor here. He and I are classmates. We go way back. And so the world did not turn out the way God, the Father, the Creator, intended it. So he sent his Son, Jesus. And this is where I think some people start misunderstanding things. They think Jesus is supposed to fix the world. And they come to me and they're so sad. Says, Jesus didn't fix my family, didn't fix my marriage, he didn't fix my job, he didn't fix anything for me. And I thought, he didn't come to fix, he came to forgive. He came to give us the opportunity to live a better life. But it has to start with ourselves. And so that's where the Holy Spirit comes in. Because when we make the sign of the cross, the Holy Spirit is our shoulders, it's our arms. It's what actually does the work in this world. If anything is going to change, we've got to get up and move and do things about it. It's not enough to think the right things. It's not enough to feel the right feelings. We have to put into action the faith that we have received. And people come to me and they say, I prayed and nothing happened. The world is still the same way it was. I'm still the same way it was. I've been committing the same sins for 30, 40, 50 years. They're still thinking that God's supposed to fix something. And God didn't come. I didn't find that word in the Bible. God came, he sent his son to fix the world, take away our problems. No, God sent his son so that we could feel that love in our hearts, but that we have to put it into action. Every time you raise up your hand to make the sign of the cross, how do you do that? That's God's Spirit. Paul says, no one can say Jesus is Lord unless they are moved by the Holy Spirit. You can't pick up your hand to touch your forehead unless the Holy Spirit is moving you. That's the fruit of the Holy Spirit in our lives. It gets us up off of our behinds and gets us moving and doing works of love and justice in our world. So when even we make the sign of the cross, the Holy Spirit is moving us and is showing us this Trinity. God who created the world, Jesus who forgave us, gave us the possibility of being sons and daughters of God, but the Holy Spirit opens up our arms and our bodies to do the right thing so that we can love God and love our neighbor.